Hi, this is Master Pain and welcome to my channel. Today I present you all the small things I do in BDO every day without even noticing. Some of these you probably already know or have heard about, but if you haven't, do not hesitate to hit that like button. Just before we go into it, I will fully answer some of the questions you guys asked me recently, and this should be a good source of knowledge, especially for the new players, so let's get to it. The first question comes from Razor Roses. What offense should a new player buy? Kutum, Nouver or any other? Now to answer this question you have to understand few things, one of which are AP brackets. But first just think what you will be doing as a new character. The simple guess is I'll be slashing monsters. And you will be doing it a lot and quite long, unless of course you choose to mostly do life skills. So your starting goal should be obviously Kutum, as it has a major AP increase versus monsters. It is also a quite versatile offhand with other bonuses. Before getting it, you'll need to focus mostly on accuracy to hit higher level mobs, and my personal choice here would be Helric Talisman. The Nouver, in the other hand, is mostly used in PvP, and to be quite frankly, you can really consider using it only when reaching higher gear scores, starting around 510 with Kutum and above. It will significantly boost your PvP damage, adding up with the bonus from the AP brackets, which I will explain for you just now. To simply put it, it is a bonus AP you get from the AP you already have. This bonus is visible in your inventory page under the AP question mark, and it is a number in the brackets. The higher your AP, the higher the number in the brackets, and it has levels. The knowledge on these help you to decide when it is more viable to take Nouver over Kutum for monster grinding. At some sheet AP level achieved, the overall effective bonuses of these offhands just become fairly equal. The number is 249 with Kutum, which means when reaching 249 AP with Tet Kutum, which is effective 364, switching to Tet Nouver will give you effective AP of 366. The link to the chart I'm using here is in the description, and if you wish to know more about the gear viable for sorceress, check out my other video regarding this subject, card of which should pop up here in the top right corner. Having that cleared, let's get to the next one, and it is from My to Leak. Why aren't you using Dandelion? This came out after my first progression video, where you can see I'm using Tet Spell Site of Seduction, which has the same stats as Try Dandelion, and being 3 times better in the versus human damage department. Now let's take a quick peek on the market to see the prices for each. And again it favors the Tet Blue item. This comes along with other items like Tet Syrups and Mark of Shadow, which are only 1 AP lower than Ogres and Crescents, with higher accuracy. Yes, I had these tri-boss items, and when I decided to really cut on enhancing, I sold them. The money difference helped me getting Tet Kutum and Xarka. Also, higher accuracy really is noticeable both in PvE and PvP. And now I'm on my way to get that Tet Dandelion as well as the other boss items, and I prefer buying than enhancing, especially accessories. The next question comes from Frost, who generally speaking asks about CC guide. Here I really encourage you to check out the CC Mechanics guide by InQ, which really goes through all the principles of the matter. The link is in the description, and also you can find this video within my videos worth watching playlist. I had a question about my video settings, so I'll quickly go through the most important things I did to make the gameplay fluid and attractive at the same time. Here I use high textures because I've got large memory available in the system. The graphics section determines how many of details will be rendered on the screen. So combining both of these options means I like moderate amount of things that are high quality. Now for other options, it is rather to your own taste. I see no point on having faraway objects clear, which is even more natural. I kept the quality with the aliasing, lighting effects and filters. And here I strongly recommend turning off the hitting effect because it really hurts eyes in the long run. In the optimization section I have no frame or effect options because they are quite unreliable. I like to see what is coming my way and respond accordingly, and this just reduces effects randomly. The characters, in the other hand, is a quite good option, especially in crowded cities and bosses. With the camera I like to see everything, so I widened up the vision range. Also I reduced the camera effects to minimum because it tends to be really shaky and blurry, which looks good but also hurts eyes. Within the effects section I have reduced the effects opacity to minimum to really see what's going on during the battles and applied some of that custom color grading. For the better FPS you can crop the game view and definitely play important matches in full screen, which has a major impact on the performance. Again here, and for Nvidia users, I recommend Video by Style, where you can find some useful settings to increase your visual experience. Another frequently asked question is about the skill Flow Rushing Crow, and if to use and why. So simple answer here is: don't waste your point in it. In the beginning the Flow had a forward guard or a super armor, actually already I don't remember which one. So it was a viable pick, but since the major super armor and guards patch, it was removed. The only thing that this skill does now is switching to the side during Rushing Crow, and it does it poorly, because there's no really good follow-ups after. Also you can cast it in the side stance itself, but the lot better way to use it here is by putting your amulet Rushing Crow into hotbar. This way you can cast it from any stance, swapping with C and smoothly connecting with Violation, TBS or any other follow-up. Now let's move to some other everyday tips I prepared for you, and starting with the ones related mostly to Sorks. You can blink in the air with the Night Crow and up to 3 times, after which your character will do a falling animation. This is really helpful when getting down high cliffs to ambush your enemies, and after the 3rd iframe you can land yourself with Telemark using Rushing Crow or Midnight Stinger, which actually is a part of the tip number 2. When you run and drop down from the higher place, your character will land without a grace, so you can cut this falling delay animation by using skills just mentioned. Or in case of the side stance, by using lateral spinning move to drop down. The other way is just to release the forward button and pressing it just after the landing. The next 2 tips are related to Grim Reaper's Judgment. First thing to know here is that the charged slash flows faster with following skills than the clean one. Of course, always you can cut it with Midnight Stinger, but if you want to follow with Engulfing, Ignition or Rushing Crow, make sure the Grim Reaper's Judgment is charged. Other than that, you can cancel the Grim Reaper's Judgment just and only before your character gets ready for the slash. Use Midnight Stinger or Night Crow to cancel it. And since we are here with cancelling the skills, let's talk about Rabams. They consist of 2 skills that flow, creating together a completely different skill. Their animation still can be cut in 2 by using Midnight Stinger or Night Crow. So like here you can basically double cast the Shadow Eruption, which is quite a good disabling technique in PvP. Just note that the damage and CC effects are also cut. One of the cancels I oftenly use is for Q buff, and this is using your left mouse button and then Q. You can do this really quick to cut the Q animation. Tip number 7. To smoothly holster your weapon, make sure you do it while moving. And this won't work with sight unfortunately, but in case of side stance, you can just use your Rushing Crow from the hotbar, like I mentioned before. Myself, I do a little holstering combo, which is Rushing Crow, move and holster, and hit autorun immediately. Basically, this way you do your fingers a favor, giving them a rest. Since we have holstered weapon, now it's time to hit some skills immediately. And you can do this by launching them from hotbar. If you move in any direction, the action will be even more responsive. And tip number 9 expands on this. You can Midnight Stinger or Rushing Crow while holstered, either with amulet or sight. The small tip for the stinger here is to release the forward button for the character to start the stopping animation, and just then hit shift and left mouse button. On the other hand, to use Rushing Crow from hotbar, do it while holding the forward button. Now next tips are more general, and starting with a little tip number 10 regarding PvPing players wearing ghillie suits which hides their names. To make yourself more aware, just hide everybody's name in general. In time you'll find out that you don't need them, and fighting players with hidden names won't be a problem. Tip 11 is trivial. Use the NPC finder to navigate faster. Just right click to run to that marketplace or repair vendor. Also, instead scrolling all the way from Grana to Valencia, you can just select it from the nodes list. And regarding traveling, here's how to sprint with a horse on autorun. This is quite a combo I didn't know about until just recently. When autorunning, press shift and hold the right mouse button. The horse will start sprinting. Then you can release shift, but if you release the right mouse button, the horse will start braking, and you will need to issue that autorun command again. Tip 13. The horse will follow you after you whistle and until it reaches your vicinity. Now this is more effective if the horse is actually overloaded, because it won't run fast enough to get you. So here's basic tip 14. You can overload your horse with any stackable stuff, and in most cases it will be monster trash loot. Now this technique should be widely known within the BDO community, so if you didn't know it already, please give this video a like. Connecting tips number 11, 13 and 14 looks something like this. Tip number 15 is regarding the market, which you can overload as well. Let's say you want to put that large number of potato flour into warehouse, just for transportation between cities, and it happens that you can't due to the weight limit. All you need to do is to put a really high sell order on the heaviest items to make some space. Then move that flour stack to the warehouse and cancel pending sell orders you have just made. The warehouse will overload its limit. And with that said, this is everything I've prepared for this video. If you found these tips helpful, please give it a 10,000 likes to really break the YouTube's algorithms. Subscribe if you didn't, and I wish you the best luck in your journey in BDO. See you soon, guys.